Welcome to the Tyese Show, news and ooze, where you get your news, but you'll always get your ooze. Welcome back. I am your host, Tyese. And before I go any further, please make sure you download the Coyoteman Show Network on your mobile apps, on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. As well, you can even chime in live at www.coyotemanonline.com/live. And now I know this is football season. Some people may not, want to be able to watch live. But guess what? You can always catch a replay. www.coyotemanonline.com/Tyese Show. So welcome back. We're here every Sunday, 6:30 p.m., 7:30 p.m. Thank you for joining us. And today, you know how we do. We have the news, and then we have our ooh. And my ooh for today, to give you some info about him. He will tell you all about some of his accomplishments and his journey. He is a pastor and as well an author. He also has a radio show. He's active in the community. All right, so his name is Pastor Steve Turner. Thank you for coming on the show, Pastor Turner.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
Or is it Pastor Steve? Which one's better for you?
Actually, you can call me whatever you want to call me. Yeah.
All right, so today I'm switching up things just a bit. Normally, I will discuss like a late news topic, current news that's going on. But I felt compelled to discuss something different today. And reason being is that I was, this was just the other day, I went to go make smoothies for my grandkids. I get my grandkids sometimes. I have two, one girl and one boy, that I'm crazy about. So I had my grandkids the other day, Friday, and I went to make them smoothies. They love for me to make my smoothies, and it's my way of making sure, of course, that they get something healthy, but also something to them that feels more like a snack. And it still is. My smoothies are great.
Did you bring any today?
I didn't.
Okay. All right.
So their favorite is the banana smoothie, and I'll give the recipe. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's good. I'll give the recipe. It is really simply just bananas, of course. The milk of choice, and as well cinnamon and honey. Okay. Now notice I didn't say anything about sugar, and that is really what my news is about today. Part of it. Now what I do when I make my smoothies is I don't even keep sugar in my house. So yeah, I don't.
Say what?
I don't. And don't think that my cooking is like nasty because I'm not big on processed sugar.
Oh.
However, so this is what I do. This is what I meant to do. I tasted the smoothie, after I made it for the kids, and I was like, it could be a little sweeter. So I go in the cabinets and I go to pull out vanilla, and I said, okay, this will work. So of course, people have been using vanilla for years, vanilla extract for years, in their baking and everything. And so I pull out this vanilla, and I don't bake. I cook.
Oh my Lord. What's going on here?
I will cook, like your lunch foods, your dinner foods, all that. I just don't bake. So anyhow, with that, I said, when I pulled out the vanilla extract, I said, well, you know what? Maybe it's expired. See, again, I don't bake.
Somebody help us.
I said, let me try it. Let me take a look, and before I go, pouring some into the kids' smoothies, right? So I look at the label. Now this is what this is what was appalling to me. Again, I was looking to make sure it wasn't expired, right?
Okay.
No, but let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what I saw.
What you see?
All right, so this is your typical bottle of vanilla extract, okay?
Okay.
Now, I always preach to read the labels. Okay? So now, I didn't read the label when I bought it. Should have.
Well.
But listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the warning on the product.
A warning?
This product contains furfural. I'm going to spell it because this is not an easy word, at least for me to pronounce. Okay. It is Furfuryl. So like
furfural.
Okay.
Sounds dangerous.
Alcohol.
Oh.
A chemical which is known to the state of California to cause cancer.
What?
And it gives a website from there to go on. And it's a government website. It ends in .gov.
Oh, my God. So the government is trying to take us out.
Which is not news. Okay?
Breaking news.
You get it? It's not news.
I got you.
It's the irony.
It's like a COVID chat.
Oh my goodness. So, now of course you have a lot of people that bake. You have a lot of people that bake and sell their baked goods. Good enough to sell their baked goods. You have bakeries all over the place, and now we're in that time of the year too that people are baking more, right?
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, yeah. So we're in that time of the year that people are baking more, because we're moving into Thanksgiving, moving into Christmas, and people do more baking. Sometimes people will do more baking over the holidays, than they do the rest of the year. And so here we have this bottle of vanilla extract that has this carcinogenic in it. Causes cancer.
So that apple pie could be a killer.
Oh, yes. And I mentioned because it's on the label, the excuse gets to be, well, it's there in plain view. You've been warned.
Well, I don't want to start no trouble, but
start some trouble.
Slave master will say, those blackies can't read anyway, and put it on the label.
Put it in plain sight.
There you go. Hide it in plain sight.
Hide it in plain sight, exactly. Yeah, and you were just reminding me of when that saying that said, if you want to keep something
secret
from a secret, if you want to keep something from a black person, put it in a book.
Yes, because they
remember that
they can't read no way.
So in this case, it's not that of course, it's not that we can't read. It's that a lot of times we don't read. We end up being too trusting on what we purchase from the store. And as I have learned, what we put in our bodies, of course, affects our minds, and what goes on with our mind affects our bodies. Our minds and our bodies work together. So we need to be completely cognizant of what we're eating.
Ooh, I heard today, and when I went to church, you should go to church. I heard the preacher preach about the fact that our bodies are the temple of God. That's what God said. Mm-hmm. And that we should not do anything to defile the temple. And if you defile the temple, like taking that, God will destroy you. Mm-hmm. That's heavy.
It is. It's very heavy.
So I got scared because we hear stuff and we hear the truth, but we don't listen to it. And I went out after hearing that powerful word. I went to Popeyes and got some spicy.
No, you didn't.
Spicy Popeyes chicken. And I knew I was wrong, but I just want to repent openly on TV. Thank you. Sorry.
And not even the original. You went with the spicy.
Oh, it ain't no chicken if it ain't spicy. My God, I tell you, you got to have some flavor. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We all have our foods that we eat that are definitely not contributing to the healthiness of the temple. However, you want to completely be cognizant of what you're putting in, in your body. I have learned that if you're not eating clean, you're eating wrong. Okay, so and eating clean,
Hold on a
of
second.
course.
Why you put me out? I mean, did you know about those coconut chocolate chip cookies from Keebler that I had the other day?
I had cookies last night, but
What am I talking about? Put it there.
Look, I had cookies last night, but it's, like I said, balance is what we need.
And I balance it when I dip it in milk.
No.
You might as well go all the way.
You're not helping the cause here. I'm trying
sorry.
to get across here to the people.
I'm messing up.
Is all right. So you want to shop, actually, and you have probably heard this yourself. You just didn't pay it any attention. I'm messing with you now. That when you shop, you should shop mostly on the perimeters of the store.
Oh, this is deep.
And this is almost every single store in the U.S. is created like this, that the outskirts, the perimeter of the store is where you find your produce. So, of course, your fresh fruits and vegetables. That's where you find your meat. And that's where you trying to write this down?
Yeah. It's like going to college. I didn't know.
That's where you find, things like your potatoes, and but healthy. Everything that comes from the earth. So that's eating clean. So that's where the majority of your food purchase should come from for your family. And then in the aisles is, all
the mess.
All the mess.
Yeah.
All the mess that
microwavable mess.
Not just the microwave, but the microwavable foods. But now this is any foods really that come in a box, that come in a can, even your packaged frozen. And one main reason is because of the amount of processed sugar, the amount of sodium, and as well the cancer-causing ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the carcinogenics. Okay, so now what you have is a foundation for pretty much every disease known to man. So you're talking about getting diabetes.
Got it. Check.
You're talking about, of course, cancer. All different kinds. And now I have a story, because I didn't always have this, knowledge, about how to eat. But
what's your story?
Okay, so my story is that I grew up a tomboy, and it's like even in high school, I started lifting weights in high school, and I ended up deciding that I wanted to go into the military, and then I wanted to leave the military after doing a certain amount of years, and go into the police department.
What?
I did.
Wow.
I wasn't always the little girly girl that you see today.
You got any pictures? I mean, any videos?
What?
Yeah. We need to know.
Look. I used to be, athletic and everything. However, like most of us, we grew up on foods that, especially Black people, like food cooking is from the soul, So when we get together and we eat together, it's love,
Yeah.
So I grew up where, like, my mom, she literally, like, cooked us breakfast every single morning.
And that's a mother, I tell you.
Yeah, before we went to school, she cooked us breakfast every single morning. Mm-hmm. And then we had the big Sunday dinner, and she cooked dinner almost 7 days a week.
So what did you have for, because I'm hungry now, what did you have for dinner? Help a brother.
Not trying to make you hungry.
Imaginary food. Somebody help me.
Yeah, this story isn't helping you, huh? But you know, getting back to to me, not I actually ended up not going into the military or the police department, and the reason being is that I could pass
Got scared.
the
Got scared. Huh?
I did not. I did not. Okay. I could pass the written, and I did actually, I passed the ASVAB with a 96, 97%. Yeah, I did that.
Oh, excuse me.
I did that.
I meant it.
Yes, it did. And I went to the police department, and I passed that test just fine.
What about the psychological?
And the psycho.
That's very important. Very important.
Look, I might have been cut out at that point.
Shooting people.
I may have been cut out at the point, but I didn't get to that point.
Okay.
But the reason being is because I ended up trying to work out to be able to pass the physical agility test. And as I was working out, I noticed that I just would get winded so quick. I mean, like, for instance, I could not run, say, like a city block. And if you're trying to get into the police department or the military, you have to run.
Well,
I mean, miles.
Maybe you didn't know this part, but I was a police officer for 5 years.
Where are you?
BCPD.
No, I didn't know. I read
it. Yeah, we had to run down to the that seafood place, coming from the 10th floor, and come and run all the way down to the harbor, and then run back, and you were timed. Oh, yeah, then you had to run back up 10 flights after the run. So I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so that, of course, is a prerequisite, else you are not getting in. So I couldn't get through this, and
so you fell down on the somewhere in the middle.
No.
Help!
But I could not pass the physical agility test because then this is when I found out that I had exercise-induced asthma.
Ooh.
Okay, so in other words, it wasn't, I don't have, and I still don't have, asthma all the time. This was exercise-induced. Okay, so I would only feel like my bronchial tubes were closing when I would exert some type of energy, such as jogging or running. The reason why this was happening is because of the amount of processed sugar that I was eating.
Oh. Well.
So okay. to look at me, I say, oh yeah, she looks in shape.
Yes.
But no, I had no endurance. Couldn't run. I mean, couldn't do much. And because the processed sugar produces a phlegm in your chest, okay? Mucus in our bodies.
That's dangerous.
So that was causing me to, when I would attempt to jog, run, exercise to try to pass this physical agility test, that was causing me to feel like my bronchial tubes were closing and having an asthma attack.
Wow. Okay.
And so when I acquired this knowledge that it was from the processed sugar, so I reduced, of course, what I was eating that contained a lot of sugar, which was not just, see, people think of the sugars in our, of course, like donuts, ice cream, your pies, your cake, your soda. Now I'm making you hungry, I know. Pies, cake, sodas, things like that. But that's not the only sugars that we have to worry about. This is completely anything that's in your cabinets.
What about
there's
sugar in milk too?
There's sugar in milk. There's sugar in milk, and I mean, I have cereal. Oh goodness, I'll have a cold cereal a couple times a week, or I'll put milk in my oatmeal as well. But now it's not that you can't have any sugar. Okay, you can have actually about 20 grams of sugar per day.
Oh.
What we should not have is the constant box foods, canned foods, packaged foods. We should be eating clean. And natural sugars such as for instance, the honey that I put into the smoothie for the kids.
That you didn't bring for the guests?
that I did not bring for the guest today. Yes, yes.
Lord have mercy.
So tell me. I mean, like, what is your story with sugar, or do you read labels and when you go shopping, anything like that?
I have learned as after becoming a diabetic to read labels, and after becoming a stage 4 kidney survivor
Mm.
because of my foolishness of eating everything under the sun. And when I used to ride in a patrol car, I used to it was crazy. I used to have a 2-liter Pepsi, and I would drink it with one hand and drive it with the other side.
A 2 liter.
Yeah, I was
You
working.
prob
I was working in the.
you probably almost couldn't even see in front of you sitting there.
No, that came later. That's the after effects of years of just eating stuff that tastes good, and then dealing with stress. Yeah, yeah. So I have learned that I did it all wrong,
Yeah.
and if you're doing it all wrong, you need to stop. Okay, before you
Exactly.
come into my neighborhood, you don't be here. You're going to dialysis 3 times a week. So
Right.
it's if you can change it, listen to Dr. Tyese. Do the right thing.
Not quite, but I learn what I can because but my whole thing is that we're, as far as we know, we are here one time. We got one life to live, so we got to try to live it, and live it without the complications of what you know carcinogenics and processed sugar does to our bodies. And we know that the government
Uh,
doesn't.
don't say that.
Come on now. The government is not on our sides. You can't say that. The what they can say is, oh well, we put a label on the bottle. However, the FDA also approves pretty much almost anything.
Rubber stamp. Look at all the COVID shots. They approved all those things. Isn't it amazing how they have COVID for everybody, including the children now?
Oh yes.
And
Oh yes.
they have nothing on their label. I asked somebody that had a table if I could see the ingredients that were inside of the shot, and they had papers, and they kept fumbling through it, and then finally they said, "No, we can't show it to you." I said, "Well, I won't take it because you can't tell me what you're putting in my body, and you can't with all the Tuskegee Institute abuses
Yeah.
and Henrietta Lott abuses and all the things that they've done to even the soldiers. They gave the soldiers actually cocaine and everything else back in the day, even because the Germans were doing it, and so the Americans decided to do it. And so when you're a soldier, you become the property. That's what they told me. I was the property of this here United States Marines, and so I had no say. They were trying to feed me green eggs without ham. And I said, the eggs are green. What's in there? They said, shut up, move down the line.
Right.
Yeah, so we're experimental. Yeah.
So what you want to do is go into your cabinets and do a complete overhaul.
like a tune-up. Oh my God, I'm scared.
Really? I'm serious. Everything that you have food-wise and that you shop for food-wise really should be what you can put in the refrigerator. And some things you can leave out, like bananas.
Okay.
Seriously, your cabinet foods is what's killing us. What's killing us slowly.
What about? So I guess a can of tuna fish is no good either.
I will say this: if I eat fish, which I don't eat a lot of fish, but if I eat fish, I prefer to eat what is fresh. Now and again, read. You got to know how to read your labels. If it's something on there that you cannot pronounce, look up what it is. That's what you have to do to be healthy, to I mean, of course, adding in your physical activity, exercise and all that, keeping down your mental stress as much as possible. But I mean, how the little, we used to have a little commercial when we were young. You are what you eat, from your
Yeah.
head down to your
Feet.
feet. you know.
Oh my goodness.
So, and so with the canned tuna, read what's on the label. Again, if you don't recognize it, you probably shouldn't be eating it. We probably shouldn't be putting it in our bodies.
So so what you are saying is that like in the neighborhood, you got Burger King, you got Taco Bell, you got Popeyes, and you got at least in my neighborhood, and those kind of places. Wendy's. You're saying that that's not good food? It's economical.
Oh,
I'm
don't.
standing up for.
Yeah, you're going to go on the side of what's less expensive.
Because Sonji don't pay me no money. So.
And see now okay, all right. So you go out and you get these fast foods.
Uh-huh.
Fast foods can be made with the messiest ingredients. I mean, think about it this way. You're saying that it costs money to eat healthy. Costs more money to eat healthy. That's what you're saying, right?
I'm saying that
'Cause you always hear that
it's a
one.
recession. So
You always hear that one.
okay, all right.
This is the way I think of it. If you minimized and almost completely eliminated the fast food, the food that's causing us to die before we had to,
Okay.
the food that's killing us slowly, you will have plenty of money left over to eat the healthier foods that are on the perimeter of the store.
Oh, the perimeter.
Your clean foods.
Clean food. It's like clean comedy. I don't know. The brain freeze. I'm sorry.
So you cannot even say, well, it costs less money to eat, to eat fast foods and things like that. And nowadays, fast food is even like, what, $20 for two people?
Well, you can eat like two people. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what
right.
Dr. Tyese, what do you do when you are an elder and on disability? You don't have a lot of money. So sometimes economics controls where you go.
Oh, guess what?
Yeah.
Food bank.
I got it now.
Guess what? Food bank.
Oh.
They give you fresh fruits and vegetables. Anyhow, shut you down again. So on that note, we're going to go to commercial break. We're going to pay some bills. We will be back. The Tyese Show News and Ooze on the Coyoteman Show Network.
We must secure our families. KFG Life Insurance Specialist is a company that partnered with 15 of the top life insurance companies to ensure you get the best pricing, knowledge, and products to suit your family needs. Some people believe that term insurance is better than whole life insurance, while others feel the complete opposite. Some may feel like universal life is the way to go, and others may feel it's better to have a whole life policy. The truth is, neither of the products are better. One just may be more suitable for your family. Our life insurance specialists are not biased, as they are partnered with several life insurance companies. This ensures our clients get the best pricing, education, and products that are suitable for their families. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist make these decisions easier for you and your family. Our office is located at Security Square Mall, next to Burlington, in the Coyoteman Show Network. Please call to make an appointment at 443-400-5224 or go to www.lifeinsurancespecialist.org. That's www.lifeinsurancespecialist.org. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist help you prepare your family in the present, because the future is not promised. Act now.
y'all are probably wondering why when we come back from commercial break, a lot of times I'm sitting here like moving, dancing. That's because I hear music in here. Anyhow, we are back. The Tyese Show News and Ooze on the Coyoteman Show Network. If you're just tuning in, we were just going over how in this bottle of vanilla extract there is a carcinogen called furfuryl there I go again, FURFURYL. Look it up. And how processed sugar is wreaking havoc on our bodies and our minds. So please understand that from the Tyese Show News and Ooze, you will get value. I do try to bring to you some good information between myself and my guests that I have here every week. So thank you for returning. And so now we're going to get into my ooh for today, Pastor Steve Turner.
Oh, okay. Never been called that before. Okay.
He said it's the first time for everything.
Yeah, damn.
All right, Pastor Steve, don't be getting me in trouble. Is there Mrs. Pastor Steve Turner? So
no, she passed away on August 25th. I'm officially a widower and a single man.
And I'm so sorry to hear that. How long were you married?
17 years.
17 years. All right. Well, God bless her soul. So I'm sure she was probably had quite a bit of time with you in your career, and all of your endeavors, and being involved in the community, being a pastor, being a minister of music. I'm sure your wife played a major role.
Oh, she was actually, I made her the vice president of my business. And she was in my band. She was the co-host of my talk show. She was in everything. Yeah.
Right. Now, get me started. Tell the audience how you started in music. I know it was you were very young. You were very young. How did that start for you?
Started when my mother called me downstairs at age 4 and asked me if I would like to learn how to play the piano. I had been taking drum lessons in school and I was banging on everything in the house. So I guess that irritated her. So she strategically engineered me to go to the piano. But now, at 4, I had an analytical mind. Even then, I saw that there was a well-dressed black man to my left standing by the baby grand piano. And so I was thinking to myself, why are you even asking me this? He's already standing there. And so, but I realized that she drove the car that I rode in. She put the roof over my head, and she actually fixed all my food. So why not? So I went to the left.
What Mama says.
Basically, if you want to live back in those days.
Right.
Oh, yeah. And so I started taking classical music at age 4, and I took it till age 11, I believe.
Classical.
Yeah.
All right.
And so the pastor of the church that I grew up in, First Apostolic Faith Institutional Church, where my mother actually had a choir there. It's called the Radio Chorus. They sang for 46 years. And when the whole family was musical, so on the choir was aunts, my uncles, and they sat me right in the front seat to not only sing, but also to watch me, make sure that I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
I don't know why people keep watching me. So after the pastor, Bishop Winfield Amos Sherwell, allowed me to actually have little mini concerts on the platform on Sunday morning in this big, massive apostolic church. And so I was playing things like Blue Danube and all these other classical musical selections, and people were looking like, because we're talking about a pure, straight, anointed apostolic church, and people were looking like, what is he doing?
Right.
What the heck is going on? Oh, it's just a Turner son, clap for him anyway. So, you know. And after that, I kind of realized that they didn't really like what I was doing. I don't have audience approval, So I told my mother, I'm going on strike.
Okay.
I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not playing that classical stuff. And she didn't like it because she's put a lot of money in it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
she eventually was determined, as I was, not to do it. She was just as determined that I will do it. And so, because she had a goal in her mind, she wanted me to actually play for her choir. And so I went to musical stores to take lessons. Then from there, I had private lessons with Mr. LeRae Norris, who was at Providence Baptist. He was a master musician there. And I went to his house for 4 years to play music. And then one day when I was there, he told me, "This is it." I said, what do you mean, sir? He said, "This is it. You have learned everything that I can possibly instill in you. And now I release you to go into the world to play." Well, I wasn't ready to go into the world. But he said, I must tell you that when you first got here, you were so bad that I was going to
That's terrible.
I was going to refund your mother all her money. And now, through your diligence and persistence, you are my best student. So I have to release you. And so that's what happened. So I started playing around city, and because I used to go to different churches like St. James Apostolic. After I played at Mount Calvary Holy Temple, I played there for 14 years, and I started actually making. They started to pay me $5 after some years, and it was okay. It was a piece of change. And I'm gonna tell you how I got there. My mama was driving down the street with the pastor of Mount Calvary, Amanda Williams, wife of Bishop Harold Ivory Williams. And may know Harold Ivory Williams from being the husband of Shirley Caesar, because when his wife died, he eventually got with her. And so as I went down there, my mother said, "Amanda, say he has a job." Talking about me. I don't have a name. I got a pronoun. He has a job in D.C. I can't tell you who I work for because it's confidential.
Okay.
Oh yeah. President Carter put a freeze on the job. He's out for a whole year, and he's eating me out of house and home. I was 18. I was lifting weights too. I was strong, and so I don't know what to do with him. So Amanda said, Dr. Williams, Amanda said, send him down to the church. I'll get Sister Maddie, who plays my pianist, to teach him how to play by ear right in the service. And then when he gets up to a certain level, we'll give him a group.
Okay.
And he'll be great. And so my mother thought about it when she was driving. And she said, "That's great. Yeah, let's do that." But I was 18. I thought I was a man. And so I leaned up in between the seats and said, "Y'all planning my future, my life for me without asking me. And so don't I have a say in this?" And you know what they said? They turned back and looked at me at the same time, synchronized, and said, "Sit back before we knock your teeth out down your throat, and shut up." And so I'm sat there, man.
Right.
But now I'm glad, because that's how I, survive. Yeah. That's how I bless people. Yeah.
So they ordered your steps.
I never thought of it like that. Oh my goodness, yeah. They ordered my steps. Oh, have mercy. God rest their souls. And from there, actually, when I was first married, I had to take care of myself and two children that I had inherited. And so I went to March Funeral Home to be a salesman, because that's my other career. I've been in sales in 30 years, and but it wasn't working out. I asked this lady that, because we were selling pre-need, and I asked her about, in Randallstown, I asked her about, I said, "Ma'am, do you know that your life expectancy, blah, 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 and you need to get with March Funeral Home?" And she said something that I will never forget. Her eyes got real big, and she said, "I will live forever," and slammed the door so hard that I ain't got no hair, but it just stood up on my head. So, but I realized that it just wasn't working out. And I came out And I looked up and I saw a sign on Staples that said 1,000 business cards for $9.99. And so it's like Moses seeing the sign and getting an epiphany. That's a heavy theological word, epiphany. And so I said, "You talking to me?" You know. And so finally, looked in my pocket. I had $10, so I had to make a decision. I had planned to go and get more Popeye's chicken, or either put that on the business cards. So I went to Staples and got the 1,000 business cards for $9.99. And he said, "What you gonna name the business?" I have no idea, sir. Let me think about it. And then it was called a Ministry of Music. That was the first, and it was somewhere along the line where my wife and I, first wife, were arguing about money. And the phone rang, and so I picked up the phone. Yes, he said, "Is this Steve Turner?" I said, "Yes, it is." I don't know for how long, because if you don't have money, well, man, I don't want to get in trouble with your wife, black woman. You're gonna be in trouble.
Oh yeah.
So I said, "Lord, help me." He answered my prayer. So man said, "Can you come out and play for my service?" I said, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure I could." That's how it started. And now years later, that was in 1994. And now years later, I still get calls, even after all this time. I just played 2 funerals the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's a service. God said He'll always make room for you.
Right.
Your gifts will always make room.
Your gifts will always make room for
And
you.
so, if you're at a certain level and a certain level of favor, after prayer and marketing, because I've done a lot of marketing, and I always tell to pastors that put me first. I know there's a whole bunch of musicians now, but I'm first, and so that's a put it in the head. And so I said, I first thought of you. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. And the other thing is, mother told me I have to be reliable. So I don't care if you're a street sweeper, just be the best street sweeper you can.
Good advice.
And I may not be the best organist, depends on who you talk to, but I am probably the most reliable, because once I say yes to it, I will show up. And I have shown up wounded. I have showed up sick. I have showed up where the deacons had to carry me because I was really sick, and they had to carry me out of my car. I would play the Dunbar for a service, and they literally have to carry me down the aisle. The pastor jumped off the stage and said, "Are you sure you want to do this, man?" And I said, "Yes, Pastor. If you can move out to the right, I can get up on the stage and help the youth band that I had at the church, because they needed me." And so once I got on the keyboard, I felt better. And I played, we directed the band and all that, and everything was great. But once it was over, they had to carry me out of the school, and they actually threw me like cargo into the back seat, because that's how sick I was. And then I actually crawled up the steps of my mother's house and got back in the house, and got back in the bed. I had the same mentality when I worked as a sales rep too.
Work ethic.
Yeah. A lady called me and said, "I'm ready to sign up my kids for Medicaid." And I said, "Ma'am, can you call me tomorrow, because I'm sick today. I took off work." She said, "But you promised me." I said, "Is that what I said?" She said, "Yes." She lived down Cherry Hill. And I needed to take her actually to the doctor as well, so she would give me the cards, the black and gold and red and white cards that some of y'all still have, and I had it too, so it's no problem. Don't be ashamed. And so, and then when I finished, signed her children for the health care. I drove back home, got back in the bed. So yeah.
So you've traveled different places, and you still do, like you said, playing the organ.
No, shout out to Ursula Battle, and they played Discord in the choir, which I played 2 lead roles. It was called the organ.
All right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So now tell us about, you have a radio show, and tell us about your radio show.
Yes, in 2018, I was talking to my community uncle. Shout out to Sir David Murphy of the National Black Unity News, which I write as a national editor. Okay. And so does my friend and Kemosabe, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., okay, who's also my celebrity co-host on my radio program. and also the publisher of my 2 books. And so he said to me, Sir David Murphy said to me that you need to, with your voice, you need to do a podcast. And I said, this is the crazy part. I said, what is a podcast? Because I didn't know. And so he told me, and so I tried it out, and I didn't realize that I had already been a co-host of a podcast with Lynn Pender of the Christian Authors on Tour in 2008. That's how crazy I was. I forgot.
Okay.
And so I started Elevation Radio 1 in March 26th of 2018. And we're still on, and we cover community heroes across the country. And that's artists, gospel artists, politicians, and also...
Politicians are community heroes.
When they do right, when they follow up what they say, make those campaign promises and deliver them. Hello, Brandon.
So that does happen sometimes, huh?
Occasionally, a blue moon, you know.
Okay.
So, and I'm trying to think. We have. I've also had some. I've had a scientist on. She worked with under the Obama administration, and she told us about when we were talking about COVID-19. She told us about that, and it's kind of shocking. You need to check it out, and that's usually on www.blogtalkradio.com/Elevation Radio 1. Now it is. It's not exactly your mom and pop Christian talk program. It's kind of controversial.
Really? Okay.
Because it's just hard truth. And I just did one just recently, that's yesterday. It was called Urban Horror. And Fear versus Faith. What seeds are you planting?
Fear versus faith. Okay.
Yeah.
What seeds are you planting? Okay, so give us some more details about that show.
Okay, well, I dealt with the history of this season, which is evil, totally evil. Okay, and I'm saying, why are we endorsing it when it started with the Celtics, which are the other name for Ireland, Irish. Okay, Lucky Charms,
right?
Little Truth. Okay, that's witchcraft, and so they started having a feast and worshiping night demons. Okay, this is the origin of Halloween. And so then the church, Catholic Church, took it up when it's had bobbing for apples, which is actually a form of divination, which is fortune telling, to try to pick a mate.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when you're sending your kids out to dressed in mask, which is another form of witchcraft, which takes the personality of the mask and instills it into the person. And so they were also saying that the Celtics, that the night demons would come out and not only cause chaos, but actually also possess living souls. So, if you say that you are a Christian, if you say that you worship God and you dress your kids up in mask and follow the practices of this season being commercialized, you're offering holy things to the Lord of the Dead. That's exactly what the Celtics were worshiping. The Lord of the Dead has other names. Beelzebub, he has Lord of the Flies.
Right.
That's Satan. Okay, that's a God's enemy. And so, you can't worship him because he's laughing. I got him. Okay. And, God's looking at you like, no. And you wonder why you don't get blessed. You wonder why things ain't working out for you. Because God has taken his hand off you. So you got to repent. All witches and warlocks and trolls and politicians and City Hall need to repent. Yeah, especially this administration, City Council. Brandon Scott need to repent. Sharon Green Middleton needs to repent. Get on your knees and ask God for forgiveness. Yeah. You
going there?
I go there every Saturday, basically, because somebody need to let them understand that they're not celebrities. Marilyn Mosby, you're not a celebrity. You are just a fake Beyonce who should have done what you were commissioned to do. Yeah. Not afraid.
So, and give the website one more time.
www.blogtalkradio.com/Elevation Radio 1. And we love everybody, but just, we all need to be checked when you get out of control.
I see. Okay, you're getting to the real. Yeah.
Look at that muscle.
Yeah, not just typical ministry.
We are commissioned to, and I guess I have to be more specific. I'm a pastor. Yet I was told that when I would become a pastor, which I fought like tooth and nail, I ran, but you can't outrun God. And so, but it said your ministry would be very unique and different. And so I'm more of a marketplace prophet who happens to be a pastor.
I see. Now, this was just a couple of weeks ago when I had a guest on my show. His name is Chris Carter. Chris Carter White. We were talking about how COVID brought about that ministry is not just within the four walls. Okay, and minister going out into the community, talking about the Lord. Okay, educating and helping to bring souls to the Lord, to God. And so now, but before COVID, it was more within the four walls. And see, that is one thing that I really just never quite understood about different religions and churches, is how you have so many who are really only operating within the building. Okay, and I want to say that one reason that COVID happened was to make the world understand that you were supposed to go out and reach out past the four walls and talk to people in the community and help them understand, bring Christ to them. You just, if you're not, you'll have churches that have things like the outreach ministry. Let's feed the homeless. Let's get a clothing drive, or some mittens, things like that going on, keep them from the cold and all that. However, they will still only operate within the building, and I just always thought that was just wrong.
It is the way I grew up. First of all, if pastors and bishops and apostles and all these chief apostles and these fancy titles they gave themselves to get more money inside of their organization, that's why I do it. If they would do what they read in the Bible with Christ, he was a transient minister. He moved from town to town, and he really went into the temple, and he usually every time he went in, he got in trouble. Yeah, the woman who had who's been over. I read the story. I learned more as a pastor doing research for sermons than I did in the pews. That one of his friends had just got him back in the temple and promised the chief priest that he wouldn't cause any more trouble. Okay. So he's on probation. And so when he came and saw the woman bent over and couldn't get up, he healed her, which was against us on the Sabbath. So the chief priest fussed him out, called him out, and told him, you can't do this. And so he said, would you, if you had a steer or ox, or would you, if you fell in a ditch, would you pull him out? So isn't this mother of Zion worth more than an ox or steer? So he checked him. Okay. Religiosity, because that's what got him killed. The Sadducees and Pharisees were religious leaders, and he called them a generation of vipers.
A generation of
vipers, snakes.
of snakes.
I'm sure they didn't like that too much publicly, and so it's my pastor was small. It was a small congregation. It was called Destiny Changers Deliverance Center, and somewhere along the line, I talked to one of the managers who was her former preacher, and Reverend Worthy. And I said, I was sitting there, I guess, because I was a new pastor, kind of stupid, waiting for people to come in, and he said, "Boy, people aren't going to come in. You got to go out there.
You have to go out."
Okay. Now here's how I went out there. I had broken my leg because my wife left me and went to New York to visit her family, and I told her if she goes, something may happen to me, and she went anyway. So
No,
I broke.
Did you really?
I broke my leg. Had a cast from my foot all the way up to my thigh, and I didn't know I broke my leg, but I found out I did because I went to the hospital. And as they were wrapping me up, I canceled the service for Sunday because it was snowing outside. And then when I looked at the whole leg and I realized that the cast was going under my feet, I didn't really need any shoes. So I said, I called everybody back and I said, we're going to have service today because if I can breathe, I can walk, we can make it. And so I told my worship leader that she said, I'll beat you to church. So when I got to her house, I blew the horn. And I said, do you hear that? She said, yes. I said, come on out here so I can take you. So she says, when she got in the car, I said, don't ever tell me you're going to beat the pastor of the church. Okay. So I drove in there and I didn't have any equipment that day. So the workers there, when they saw me, they said, oh my God. So they ran and told the Reverend Worthy that he can't walk. I mean, he can't, he's all messed up. The pastor's jacked up. Okay. And so I had 2 crutches too, And so when I wheeled myself out, crutched my way in, he ran out and said, you don't have to do this. Man, you're messed up. I said, Reverend Worthy, step to the side, please, so I can take that ramp and get on in the service.
Right,
So
there you go.
I didn't have any equipment, so I had to sing praise and worship Acapulco. And if you can imagine this situation where I asked my worship leader to bring me a chair, and I stuck my leg out when I was all bandaged up and cast up out like that and holding on to the pulpit